The state of Florida is in hot water right now. And no, I am not talking about the seawater temperature topping 100 degrees. I'm talking about how right now the state is grappling with a big bag full of crises. And their governor, Ron DeSantis, is too busy running for president to care. Just weeks before the start of the school year, state colleges are facing a, quote, ridiculously high number of faculty openings, thanks to DeSantis' anti-DEI, anti-woke laws, which are driving out educators. While at the same time, his immigration law is driving away large numbers of migrant workers in the state's construction and agricultural sectors. On top of that, Florida is also now facing a problem of seemingly biblical proportions, a spike in cases of leprosy. Yes, I did say leprosy, saints, a situation not made any easier by the fact that two of the top public health positions in DeSantis' administration, responsible for tracking and preventing the spread of communicable diseases, are currently empty. And as the state he ostensibly runs is struggling, DeSantis is trying to sell voters in Iowa and New Hampshire on making America Florida. Except that's not going so well for him either. And not just because America does not want, probably like large amounts of leprosy. After rebooting his campaign and laying off more than a third of his staff, including one guy who amplified Nazi imagery, new reporting suggests the reboot might need a reboot. Rolling Stone is reporting that big DeSantis donors have been furious that the campaign is taking its cues from internet culture wars over niche issues, while some seem to think the problem isn't the campaign, but rather the candidate himself, you think? One top Republican donor who's been backing DeSantis says, quote, a top-to-bottom makeover and real accountability may be the only thing that saves DeSantis in the primary. But even then, you still have the governor at the top. And it's getting harder and harder by the day to see not just his people as the problem, but really him as the problem. Joining me now is Fernand Amandi, Democratic pollster and strategist, and Christina Greer, associate professor of political science at Fordham University and host of the podcast, The Blackest Questions. Fernand, it falls to you to please try to get me to explain. DeSantis or however he pronounces his name right now, when leprosy comes to your state, God might be trying to tell you something. That's just how I feel. How do you feel?
God or a higher power, Joy, because Florida right now is on fire, literally. In terms of the record heat wave that we're going through here now, and also politically with this crisis after crisis that really DeSantis' lack of leadership. We've had 5 insurance companies just pick up and say, we can't be in business in Florida anymore, not to mention the teacher shortage, the nursing shortage. I mean, it's a bad situation. And a lot of it has to do, I think, with Ronnie's big adventure. His presidential campaign has really imploded on start, and he's going to have a easier time, I think, finding the basement in the Alamo before he gets to that Republican nomination, given the way this thing is unfolding. But right now, Joey, he's coming to a position, to a point where he's going to have to make a choice. This morning, the New York Times has him 37 points behind Donald Trump, and he's doing irreparable harm to his political brand, not just nationally, but in Florida. And that bully-like total fascist control he had over the Republican Party, that's starting to weaken. You're having now open whispers, signs of defiance that you didn't see before, and it's because of the ultra weakness that you've seen in this candidacy. So for Ron DeSantis, this could not have been more of a worse start to this effort, and it's happening at the worst time when Florida actually needs a governor and not an autocrat running around the country trying to be president.
To stay with you just for a minute, Fernand, I mean, I wonder, are there some signs that members of the state Senate and state House feel duped and feel like they were made to pass some really incredibly extreme laws that are driving conventions out of the state, driving teachers out of the state? I know there's a huge teacher shortage. Colleges are not able to get people to accept accept offers of jobs. Like, it's literally turning the state into a pariah. I mean, the NAACP said don't come here, or at least consider don't coming here. Are there any Republican legislatures saying, wait a minute, you got us to pass a 6-week abortion ban and you have no shot at being president?
Well, remember, all of this was done prior to the ultimate collapse of his candidacy for president that we've seen now, and it has no signs of a reset. There's no signs of this turning around. But yes, just 2 major industries, the agricultural industry here in Florida, the construction industry, decimated by the fact that a lot of workers that otherwise would have come here no longer want to risk coming to Florida. So we're seeing this in real time take place, and a lot of these legislators are saying, hey, what have you done for us? Yeah. Everything in this case DeSantis has touched has died in Florida.
And Christina, the thing is, clearly DeSantis made a calculation that anti-blackness and anti-LGBTQ fury alone would get him past Trump. But if you read that New York Times piece that's around their Siena poll, the people who are the most angry at black folks and gay folks and trans people, they still like Trump better. They're like, yeah, he's fine and he's doing all that wild stuff, but I still prefer Trump. So he's not gotten anywhere. Even 22% who say Trump committed felonies or probably committed crimes say they still want him to be president, not DeSantis. So it didn't even work.
Mm-hmm. Well, we also know that the Trump supporter is inconsistent, just like Donald Trump. I mean, so Donald Trump will say anti-black and anti-LGBTQ stuff and anti-Semitic things, and then turn around and say, well, my grandkids are Jewish, and look at my black friend, and oh, gays aren't that bad, right? I mean, he's so inconsistent, and so are his supporters. The difference is Ron DeSantis is a true believer, and so he doubles down and triples down on these things. But a lot of the people who like him or thought they liked him realize that there's something off about his ideological drive, and it's giving them a touch of pause, and now it's giving his donors a lot more pause. And so we're going to see sort of, as you said, the retool to the retool to the retool. You can only retool but so many times before you seem inauthentic and inconsistent. And that's something that Ron DeSantis always doubled down. He said, listen, I don't like the blacks, right? And here's the legislation and the policy that I'm going to push forward to it. If he tries to change or soften up in any capacity now, it's not going to seem authentic. And his voters are going to move even farther away from him.
And it's just weird. Can I just play a clip? Do we have a clip here? This clip? Let me play it. This is DeSantis. Let's just play him. He's weird. This is cut for.
Oh, what is that? An icy? Yeah, that's probably a lot of sugar, huh?
As always, yeah.
Well, I'm here. I don't know if the other one's
kidding.
out there.
I'm not pressed.
Okay, all right. It's good. All right, we'll say hi to everybody.
He's just weird. I mean, no offense. I like weird generally, but Christina, your thoughts. He's just weird.
Yeah, there's no joy in the campaigning. And we know that in a place like Iowa, it's incredibly important for you to make real connections with people, because it's not a vote, it's a caucus. And you need people to feel as though they should go into that room and literally fight for you and your candidacy. This is something where it's just Ron DeSantis doesn't seem as though he likes people. And so why would you be inspired to vote for someone or to continue to give money to someone who doesn't even seem as though he likes you, let alone wants to fight for you?
Fernand, he has 4 kids. If they ask for ice cream, does he say, nah, you still won't? Like, what is that? What does he do? How did he get this far in politics, Fernand? Make it make sense.
Joy, Florida doing Florida things. Forget, the old question is that the kind of guy you want to have a beer with? That's the kind of guy you need 10 beers just to put up with him and get away from me. He's got no charm, no charisma, and it's also part of the problem he has nationally. That lack of warmth and that lack of personal connection means he has no relationship. That's why even people on his campaign, and I guess I'm telling a little bit of state secret here, I know Florida Republican legislators who are on his campaign committee that hate him like poison privately, can't wait to go down. And you saw a little bit of that with that interaction with that little girl in Iowa.
Well, we know that a celebrity died today, and I have to ask you, Fernand, why are you dressed like that? Is there a reason?
I know you are, but what am I? Come on, Joy.
I know you are, but what am I?
Gen X kid here. We lost a real one today, someone who gave a lot of joy to me and my family and my kids, the great Paul Reubens, Pee Wee Herman. So giving a little love to Pee Wee on the day he left us forever and became a legend for all time.
I know you are, but what am I? I love it. I had to get that in there. Fernand Amandi and Christina Greer, thank you both very much.